Cheers.
Zoe and Greg live in peaceful Suffolk, have 3 children and lead a really full life. But they both know what it feels like to face danger. Greg, in the services, has seen action in war zones. Zoe has had bowel cancer.
I was 32 weeks pregnant with my 3rd child, and I had constipation and some bleeding. Didn't for any reason think that it would be anything other than piles or constipation in pregnancy. And I was 32 weeks pregnant when they investigated it and found that I had bowel cancer.
Were you aware of bowel cancer, and did you ever think that you could get it?
I had no knowledge of bowel cancer at all. I'm the first person that I'd ever come across that had had bowel cancer.
You're 32 weeks pregnant, you're told you've got cancer. What was that like?
Terrifying, to be brutally honest, because I didn't know at that point how advanced the cancer was, and I didn't know whether that meant that because I had cancer I was going to die.
Although every year 40,000 people get bowel cancer, most of them are over 60. Zoe, then just 34 and with a young family, was in the minority. If the cancer is dealt with soon enough, bowel cancer is curable. But with her diagnosis, Zoe and her family were facing an uncertain future.
It was like a whirlwind really, and we got swept up in it and carried along.
And when you had time to talk about it, what were your feelings?
I don't think we did talk about it. Not for a while anyway. It took a long time before either of us could face what really could happen, potentially. That Greg could be raising 3 kids by himself. I was terrified of dying. I did go through a phase of making all sorts of notes just in case anything did happen. I was just frightened and terrified, really.
Zoe's daughter, Lenny Rose, was induced at 35 weeks. Along with the 2 boys, Kai and Jude, Zoe now had 3 children's future to worry about. After she'd recovered from the birth, the treatment for her cancer began.
The chemoradiation lasted for 5 weeks, and then 10 weeks after that I had my operation to remove the tumour, and I was very lucky. I was one of 10% that had a complete pathological response, and there was no cancer found in my tumour at all.
But what else did they find?
6 weeks post-surgery they then found that I had secondaries on my liver.
You must have thought you were maybe okay by then.
I think my world came crashing down at that moment. Up until that point I really thought I'd beaten it and that we were moving forward, that our lives had changed for the better. So yeah, it was very difficult.
Something serious? Yeah, where are you going to go for your...
With the news about the liver secondaries, Zoe's prognosis was not good. For years, many oncologists believed that operating on the liver was too risky in most cases. But that situation is now changing, and for many patients, liver surgery can literally save their lives.
I was then told that I would have to have surgery, at least I was a candidate for surgery, but that I would have to wait at least 6 to 8 weeks before I would see somebody just to talk about having an operation, and then obviously wait for a date to have the operation.
This is all a terrifying time.
It was very, very scary because at that point, once you know you've got cancer, again, you want it removed as soon as possible. You want to be rid.
So the thought of waiting a couple of months just to see the surgeon?
Yeah, you want to know straight away. You want to speak to somebody with the knowledge that it could potentially save your life.
So what did you do?
I contacted you and you directed me to the best surgeon that you knew of. And I contacted him directly and then gave his number to my oncologist and asked to be put forward to him to be operated on.
How quickly did you have your liver operation?
I saw my surgeon within 2 weeks and was booked in a week later. So within 3 weeks I was operated on and was recovering at home.
It's a tough operation.
It was a difficult operation, definitely.
What did the surgeons say about your chances?
My chances of survival now have greatly improved just by having the surgery on my liver. I think it goes up by almost 50%, which is fantastic.
You're better off than I was, actually, and I'm still here.
Well, that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping to still be around. I've got 3 beautiful children to look after, and I don't think I want to face the reality that that might not be the situation.
And how has Greg taken it?
Probably fantastically, really. He has picked up and run with whatever's been thrown at him. Raised 3 kids while I was having surgeries or chemotherapy or radiotherapy, and all that with a newborn baby. So he's pretty awesome, really.
How do you feel about the future now?
Bright, very bright. It's very difficult because sometimes you find that you recall on the events that have happened in the last 18 months, and it is truly terrifying. You don't quite know how you've made it through, but you do somehow. But the future's brighter than ever now. And if anything, it's probably even brighter than it was before because you don't take any chances, you live life to the full as much as you can now, and just enjoy it as much as you can.